Hi there, and welcome to episode 31 of Turning Tracks. My name is Matt.
And I'm Chris.
And we're here to talk about the music we love. When this artist came onto the New York goth scene back in the late 90s, I couldn't think of a more perfect form of entertainment to complement or poke fun at the growing nightlife than this guy. Let's get our fake fangs to bite with, our BDSM gear to jangle with, and our curtains to dance with, because tonight we listen to the music of Aurelio Voltaire.
Being a nocturnal soul, besides just being simply strange, spawns from some illness of the mind. But the night she calls me,
Well, howdy, Chris.
Well, howdy, Matt.
How's everything doing?
Well, I mean, with an intro like that, how bad could it be?
I am very curious as to which part of that intro had sparked some interest.
Really, the entire thing, like I hadn't read any of this beforehand, so, and I've only heard at most like a couple of seconds of each song as I was downloading them. So, when you started with fake fangs and then BDSM gear and then dancing with curtains, yeah, sure.
Do you know what Dancing with Curtains is?
I really don't. I just assumed it was literally dancing with curtains, but it's a euphemism. All right.
Oh, no. It's a dance move. It is a dance move that is generally done by women of the goth scene, and it looks like they're caught in very lacy curtains and they're just dancing with them. You should look it up sometime.
Like Stevie Nicks, basically.
Yes, but the curtains are invisible.
Okay. Right, because she's usually wearing the curtains. She's
draped.
You can see them. The
layers.
The drapery is drapesing about.
She's like an Edwardian window.
Nah, I'm doing okay. I'm real tired. My dog's been sick, and I went out of town to help my sister-in-law with a project that was extraordinarily difficult, and I have to go out of town again this weekend to finish the job. So I'm physically and mentally thoroughly exhausted by a number of things. I was very fortunate that I didn't have to concentrate on anything today, which is a bald-faced lie. I did have to concentrate on things today. But I haven't been sleeping because of the poor dog, my poor little buddy. Yeah. I think he's starting to feel a little better. I've been feeding him chicken and rice today to kind of help get his tummy back into position.
Dog's eating better than I am.
Ha!
But isn't that the way, right?
Isn't that the way?
Well, that's a shame. I hope he gets better soon. When the dog's sick, it throws everything out of whack.
Yeah. Also, I'm just extraordinarily frustrated by the fact that I haven't finished watching Andor yet, because I am a Star Wars whore, and I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in, and it was just every night that I'm available, let's sit down and watch some Andor. But yeah.
Nope. Not happening.
Nope.
It's not in the cards, pal. I'm sorry. I get that, though. There's a lot more TV that I'd like to be watching, too, and it just doesn't happen. But, there will be time one day. I don't know when it is, but there will be time.
That day is not today.
No. However, you do get the honor of turning your brain off and sitting back and listening to the musical stylings of one Aurelio Voltaire. Have you, you've kind of already touched on this. Have you heard of this artist before?
Nope, never. This is
Fantastic.
All news to me.
All right, well, before we dive in, for anyone who's new to the show, here's how this works. Each episode, either Chris or myself picks a band or an artist. That person then has to choose 10 tracks, and 10 tracks only, that they believe best represent that band or artist. We listen to them, we discuss them, and that's how it goes. Normally, I say it probably once or twice an episode. It is really hard to narrow some artists down to 10 tracks, especially when they have a massive catalog. And then sometimes it's not. Sometimes you sit there and you go, yeah, I only like 2 albums by this artist, and here are the tracks. Or this artist only released 1 album, so we're going to listen to pretty much the whole album. So, without further ado, I thought this was a clever way of you kind of sort of did it with the last episode, so I kind of stole a little bit of your template from the Ben Folds 5 episode, And I think I'm going to keep doing it moving forward. So, a little history on the person, and then we'll talk a little bit about the sound of the music, and then we'll just dive right in. Um, Cuban-born artist Aurelio Voltaire Hernandez emigrated from Cuba to New Jersey at the tender age of 4 months after the passing of his father. His career as an artist initially began as an animator after being inspired by the films of Ray Harryhausen. And quite frankly, like if you've seen any Ray Harryhausen stop motion, you've been inspired. And chances are, if you don't know who Ray Harryhausen is, your favorite stop animator, or animator for that matter, has been influenced by Ray Harryhausen. And eventually he began teaching himself how to make armatures. Armatures are the figurines used for stop motion animation. In spite of having a pretty traumatic childhood, he persevered, and at the age of 17 ran away from home and moved to New York City, and the rest, as they say, is history. I'll inject a little bit of anecdote here because I actually know Aurelio Voltaire.
Oh,
yeah. I've talked about it a bunch of times. Specifically around the Halloween episodes. How I would was able to go out and hang out at the goth clubs and stuff like that. Especially in high school when I definitely should not have been. 16 and 17 going to goth clubs was I don't know how we got in there. Me and my first girlfriend, and we did it quite often. And around that time, that's when then known as simply Voltaire was performing and making the rounds, and he gained his notoriety and popularity there. And as conventions became bigger, he became bigger, et cetera, et cetera. And again, as I mentioned, he wasn't just a one-trick pony. He was a stop-motion animator. He wrote comic book. He wrote and drew comic books. He wrote books. Tons of music. He did a stop-motion animation TV identification for MTV. So if you look him up, he's got many a feather in his cap. Very, very talented guy. And I had the pleasure of. I will not say we were friends. We were acquaintances. But I've had the pleasure of having conversations with him. And he's a smart guy too. Very intelligent. Very interesting. Now, as far as the sound, of all the stuff that I've read about the sound of Voltaire, the best one I found was, quote, dark cabaret. The music contains heavy European folk influences, which I feel is the main vein that feeds the music, and it also contains the elements of the growing New York goth scene, which includes influential artists like Rasputina, Tom Waits, Morrissey, Duran Duran, The Cure, etc., etc., etc. And that's enough yapping about about him and the sound. I want to dive right in. So the first record he officially released is entitled "The Devil's Briss." So we we opened up with a song called "The Night" from his second record, Almost Human. But I do chronological because that's just how I roll. We're gonna listen to 1, 2, 3, 4. There's several tracks off The Devil's Briss. The name alone, The Devil's Briss, should really give you an idea of what we're about to get into. I can say, beyond the shadow of a doubt, this is a record that has been like stuck in my head since 1998 when it came out. I learned like every lyric on the album. I would sing it wherever, whenever. I love this guy's voice. I love his humor. I love his performance. And I love this first iteration of his band. So, without further ado, we're going to listen to the opening track off The Devil's Briss. It's called Ex-Lover's Lover. The artist is Aurelio Voltaire. Enjoy.
Stones keep it from floating. weigh it down to the bottom. Food for the fishes, and I know that it won't be discovered, 'cause I will be careful, so very careful. What if it doesn't rain for days, and the river is reduced to its muddy bed, with a corpse exposed? I would work in haste, and I might bury the bones in a shallow grave, and the rain comes and moves rocks and the stones, washes away all the dirt and the mud flows. Bones are exposed, and well, you know how that goes. I wait for the day when I finally defile the bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. I'll pile high to the sky the bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. Die, 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 die. Watch them die, 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 die. Watch them die. I saw you with him, you look so happy. All love that can change, 'cause I am so lonely, and I have lots of time to send you straight to the devil. I'm taking my time to plan your demise. What if I were to cut you up and mail each part to a different town? It would take the most brilliant private eye, the rest of his life just to put you together, a piece in each mailbox all over the planet, from Moscow to Tokyo, to Guadalajara. I wait for the day when I finally defile the bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. I'll pile high to the sky the bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. I wait for the day when I finally destroy bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. I'll pile high to the sky the bodies of my ex-lovers, lovers. Die, 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 die. Watch them die, 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 die. Watch them die. I saw you with him, you look so happy. That will never change, 'cause I know myself too well. I don't have the courage to carry out my dreams, and only there will I see them die, 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 die. Watch them die, 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 die. Watch them die, 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 die. Watch them die, 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 die. Watch them die.
That was Ex-Lover's Lover by Aurelio Voltaire off the 98 release, The Devil's Bris. And Chris, only hearing my write-up at the beginning, how did I do?
Well, this was a lot more Celtic than I expected.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, did you mention that it was super Celtic and I just missed it? Like,
No.
this just seems like a... it's just really freaking Irish. Like,
Okay.
that's not a complaint. I have no problem with it. Just like, wow. that was not at all what I expected. I was expecting I guess something a bit more goth, than this was more like let's eat some corned beef and dance. I mean, now look, I wake up in the morning and say, let's eat some corned beef and dance, but so that's just kind of where my brain is at, generally speaking. But yes, no, this was extraordinarily Celtic. The violin, and boy, that's very violin heavy. Like the really, really thick was, I don't want to say cello, but like some sort of
it's a cello
stringed instrument. Yeah, I guess it was cello. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe I do want to say cello. Either way, it was very, very thick sounding. It was like drippy. Kind of liked that.
All right. Well, this first record can be I want to say all over the place, but it's really not. Celtic, sure. I think the drumming has that Celtic hand drum. Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, it runs that cadence and all the high diddle highs and stuff. Like,
well, yeah. It's a waltz, right?
Yeah.
So I think that lends itself to it. But lyrically speaking, among my favorite of his pieces of material, I think we've all been there when you stop seeing someone and then find out they are seeing someone and you are enraged. But I love his lyrical cadence. The part, it would take the most brilliant private eye the rest of his life just to put you together, a piece in each mailbox all over the planet, from Tokyo to Mexico to Guadalajara. From Moscow to Tokyo to Guadalajara. Like, I don't know how often that line just pops in my head, for better or for worse. But
well, Guadalajara is just fun to say.
Oh, absolutely.
Must be even more fun to sing. I've never done it, but
yeah, I mean, you have the tracks now. You can learn where it is, and it's such a great cadence. Guadalajara, Anyway, yeah. So that kicks off the album, and then what comes next is probably what I think is one of the most beautiful songs ever written. Period. Not just by this guy, but in general. Immediately following Ex-Lover's Lover is a song called Anniversary. It is the second track off The Devil's Bris, and it is performed by Aurelio Voltaire. Enjoy.
Same to you, 'cause I don't feel so. Everything must change as time goes by. Though it feels like yesterday when we first met, I feel I'm sinking deeper. Do you look the same to me? Well, I don't think so. Everything must change as time goes by, like the flowers that thrive, locking inside forever their beauty. And they said this feeling fades, it gets stronger every day. And they say the beauty fades, you're more beautiful than ever. They said we drift away, still standing here, and it feels like every day's our anniversary. Well, I stumble through the door, light a candle, and the path the wax will take, no one can know. And you said it looked like snow, or maybe clouds, and I think it looks like heaven. So we make it into a ring, and the flames, the whitest gold. When hot and cold collide, what's left in place is forever and ever. And they said our love would fade, it gets stronger every day. And they say that beauty fades, you're more beautiful than ever. They said we drift away, we're still standing here. And it feels like every day's our anniversary. Some say things worth having take some time. As they get older, they get better. La 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 la. Stronger every day, and they say that beauty fades, you're more beautiful than ever. They said we drift away, we're still standing here, and it feels like every day's our anniversary. And they said our love would fade, it gets stronger every day, and they say that beauty fades, you're more beautiful than ever. They said we drift away, well, as long as we're together, it feels like every day's our anniversary.
That was Anniversary by Aurelio Voltaire off of the 98 release, The Devil's Briss. And I'm very curious what you think of the band now.
Again, Celtic as fuck. Like, when it started off, I'm picturing, like, rolling green fields and, like, leprechauns. I don't know. That song was beautiful. I really liked that one a lot. I mean, you know me, and following lyrics, my brain just kind of wandered. But as I was listening to the music and the melody, there was also I've talked about it a bunch on the show before in the past, where I really like that very specific, like, kind of lower fidelity 90s recording sound, and this had a very, like, slight twinge of that in it that was really, like, kind of making my heart happy. This was a lovely song, but now I hope I'm not making an ass of myself like the lyrics were about, like, you know, I don't know. I really don't want to say anything horrible because I was so happy. No. I was just trying to think of, like, you know, horrible things to say. I was like, no, I'm not going to spoil the moment. I'm gonna believe that was as pretty a song as I thought it was.
It in fact was, and I personally think that you should go back and listen to this one again, because I feel like both you and I have a bit of that hopeless romantic inside of us. Mm-hmm. And this song to me, which is ironic because it's called Anniversary, this song to me is very much like a love letter to your partner or that person, whoever that person is for you, right? You know, they say that beauty fades, well, you're more beautiful than ever. You know, they said we drift away, but we're still standing here. Those are like the chorus lyrics. The verse lyrics are, so we make into a ring and we make it gold. You know, it's a very beautiful thing. To me, it very much is a song that, like, is about, you know, coming together in marriage and celebrating the anniversaries and the years together. One of the interesting things I've always found about Voltaire is that, it's really hard for me to call him Aurelio Voltaire, because I've just known him as Voltaire since 1998. In preparing for the show, I didn't realize that somewhere in 2000 something or other, he was like, okay, well, I'll just be called Aurelio. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. That's how I don't know. But he was like, people don't seem, they confuse me with another. There's a couple other artists apparently that came out after him with using the moniker Voltaire and et cetera, et cetera. So he's decided to go with his, given name. Anyway, the interesting thing about Voltaire for me is if you go across his entire catalog, you get a lot of interesting things. I'll dig into it a little bit more later as we progress in the episode. But I think this is certainly an artist that wears all of his influences on his sleeve. So moving ahead, the next track we're going to listen to is the fourth track off The Devil's Bris, entitled The Man Upstairs. This song is for anyone who's ever had a rental, who's ever lived underneath someone that has just been noisy. I think if you can catch the lyrics, Chris, I think you'll get it. And for everyone else, you'll catch it right away. So Voltaire, The Man Upstairs. Enjoy.
Upstairs, such a freak. For 5 years now, I'm handling. What does he do up there? All day long, he sleeps all day. He goes out and comes home in the most intoxicated way. As far as I can tell, he juggles bowling balls, but he's not good at it. He moves his furniture, and at 6 a.m. he pulls out the vacuum cleaner to suck his room. Downstairs is also crazy. He spent some time in an institute. It did him not much good. He's off his medication and he starts screaming, Virgin Mary, you fucking alien. According to him, Jesus Christ smokes crack and other sundry things. But it's the man upstairs who pulls the strings, won't let me sleep. Sucker, paying more than $100 a room, and I'm surrounded by lunatics who don't even need a moon. But it's the man upstairs who pulls the strings, won't let me sleep. Please kill that man upstairs.
That was The Man Upstairs by Voltaire. How'd that grab you, Chris?
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his main problem with the guy upstairs was a leak, right?
One of many.
Oh, okay. Because I felt like I missed something because as he's talking about murdering the guy upstairs, it's not going to fix the leak. Like if you kill the man upstairs, you're all but guaranteeing, unless people find out that the guy's upstairs, you're all but guaranteeing that leak's going to just continue to leak until there's a body discovered and then there's an investigation. You're really just going to make things worse on yourself. I feel like he didn't think this one through, Matt.
Chris, do you remember at the beginning of the episode where I told you to turn off your brain?
This was odd in the most wonderful way. I kind of liked how it escalated from just being annoyed with the people around him to this guy needs to die and you need to do it for me.
Yes, because if you've ever loved me, you would do this one thing for me, won't you, sweetheart?
Exactly.
I just love...
I love imagining him not saying this to like somebody he's romantically involved with, but like he went to the bodega across the street and is just saying this to the guy behind the counter.
Yeah, because I've lived in that neighborhood.
So have I.
We've all had Machu Picchu downstairs, saying...
The whole time I'm listening to this, I'm picturing my apartment in Bed-Stuy. Like the whole time I'm listening to this. And like this specific time where it wasn't a slow leak. There was a certain point where we had one of those like, just enormous garbage cans that we just had to put under this. It was like just water was cascading down from the ceiling. And me and my roommate were just like, well, I hope this garbage can cover it by the time our landlord or super shows up in like a day and a half.
Jesus, man.
Oh, Brooklyn. Anyway, go on. Yes, this song invoked many feelings in me, but it was just a genuinely fun song.
Yeah, it very much encapsulates what it is to live in rent-controlled apartments in New York City at that time. Before the Giuliani era of cleaning up New York City and the Disneyfication of Times Square. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate a songwriter that can really paint a picture and tell a story. Voltaire's no shortage of that. Pretty much everything he writes is some kind of story, is some kind of very vivid, put you in the place of the singer kind of material. And I'm just such a fan of that. And I think he does it really, really well. And on top of it, I think he's got such a fantastic voice. Just me.
No, you're right. And I meant to mention something like that after the first song. Like, this guy's got a real interesting voice, and I mean that in a very good way. He is a pleasure to listen to. But he also, again, it just not this song, but with those first two songs and the way that he sings also lent itself to that Celtic vibe that I was getting.
Well, yeah, I mean, to throw it back to what I read in some articles and stuff, it's European folk, So, anyway. We're going to move on to the next track. Let's see. This is going to be track number 9. Number 9 on The Devil's Bris. It's entitled The Chosen. I chose it. I chose this one. Jesus. I walked right into that, didn't I? I chose this one because, again, a very eclectic album The Devil's Bris is, and I wanted to make sure we got some humor, I wanted to make sure we got some sweet, and then I wanted to make sure we got a little crazy. So this is all of that put together. The song is called The Chosen. It's off The Devil's Bris from 98, and this is Voltaire. Enjoy.
Last night a moth came to my bed and filled my tired, weary head with horrid tales of you. I can't believe it's true. But then the lampshade smiled at me. It said, believe, it said, believe. I want you to know it's nothing personal. First time I had sex, I was 3. First time consenting was 13. Though you weren't there, you remind me of those hands. Roses are red, violets are blue. If I'm schizophrenic, then I am too. Whatever it takes to escape. I hope you understand why I'm forced to take your life in my hands. I want you to know nothing personal. Though we've never met, I've seen your image in a million waking dreams. Your eyes, they call to me, set me free. Did I ever tell you, you look like my mother? She once left me in a supermarket. I promised myself that I'd never feel that way again. Did I ever tell you, you look like my dear old mother? Hope you understand why I'm forced to take my life in your name. I want you to know it's nothing all the same. And though we've never met, I've seen your image in a million waking dreams. Your eyes, they call to me, set me free. Last night a moth came to my bed and filled my tired, weary head with horrid tales of you. I can't believe it, I can't believe it's true. But then the lampshade smiled at me. It said, believe, it said, believe. I want you to know it's nothing personal. Hope you understand why I'm forced to take your life in my hands. I want you to know it's nothing personal. Though we've never met, I've seen your image in a million waking dreams. Your eyes, they call to me, set me free. I hope you understand why I'm forced to take my life in your name. I want you to know it's nothing all the same. Though we've never met, I've seen your image in a million waking dreams. Your eyes, they call to me, set me free. It's not easy being the chosen. It's not easy being the chosen. It's not easy being the chosen. It's not easy being the chosen.
That was The Chosen off of The Devil's Bris by Voltaire. And I can't imagine it's easy or hard to write a song about being a psychopath. But to make it so lyrically wonderful, that is in fact the hard part.
Yeah, that was an interesting tune. I again enjoyed that one, but yeah, it was super interesting. Again, I do find it really wild how violin forward this all is. Like, I feel like you don't really hear that in a lot of bands where it's just like, no, this is always here. This violin is always going to be a part of this. It's like the horns in a ska band. It's just like, no, this is just here. You're not going to get a song without this. No, and it does seem to be working for him.
Yeah, so that was really the lineup for the first album. It was violin, cello, drums, and acoustic guitar. And that was the band that he toured with. And every time I saw him, it was that iteration. And, it was very different. In 98, my God, I was probably listening to all kinds of, heavy, crazy industrial and, metal and punk. And it was very interesting to go like from a Static X show and then the following weekend go see him. And you would see a lot of the same people too. That was the fun part. One of my favorite lyrics of all time that I recite ad nauseum is, "Roses are red, violets are blue. If I'm schizophrenic, then I am too."
It's pretty great.
I can't tell you how many times I've used that in conversation. I can't tell how many times I've said that just randomly. Or my old job, I used to walk around. We had a big basement to traverse the building, and I used to walk the hallways singing, and I would sing that. And people would turn the corner and look at me, and I'm like, it's not easy being the chosen. Fantastic times. All right. Again, if you're digging this, I urge you to go listen to the entirety of The Devil's Bris. It's a fantastic record, start to finish. I'm going to send us out with one more track from The Devil's Bris, but that's not until later. We're going to jump ahead to the next record in Voltaire's career. This is Almost Human from 2000. Flat and even. Y2K did not suck us all away like we thought was going to happen, and we got a brand new Voltaire record. So, the next track we're going to listen to is called Out of Reach, and it opens up the record. Once again, that record, Almost Human, coming out of 2000. Enjoy.
Flag, you'll crash my car, you'll kill my cat, you'll break my balls, you watch my cities fall, but not tonight. You're the devil's own, you'll cheat and lie, and you won't stop until you stole the glimmer from my eye, but not tonight. But not with me. It's all so clear to see. You can try to destroy me, but not tonight. 'Cause I won't let you. You can fight if you like. Some other time you'll find I'm out of reach. Your words can't hurt me. I'm out tonight. You're my demise, you'll orchestrate my fall. You'll kill my cat, you'll burn my bridge, you'll scale my castle wall. To get to me, you'll break my will, you'll sell my soul. You'll take my heart and replace it with a gaping hole. And step on me. But not with me. It's all so clear to see. here to say. You can try to destroy me, but not tonight. 'Cause I won't let you. You can fight if you like. You can scream if you want. Yell your stubborn head off anything at all. Your words can't hurt me. Your words can't touch me.
That was Out of Reach by Voltaire off the second release, Almost Human. As I listen, because I've been listening since 2000, I can do so many other things and still be tuned in. I just read that this entire record is supposed to be, quote, a look at life from the perspective of Lucifer, end quote. Thus, the album's tracks deal with existentialism, the human condition, and the existence of God in Voltaire's usual tongue-in-cheek, humorous way, rather. This track in particular is very much supposed to be from the perspective of Lucifer. So, for any of you out there who are familiar with Catholic and Christian mythos, I like that word, cast out of heaven, etc., etc. So, anyway, how did that one make you feel?
No, it was pretty lovely. It was, again, that violin is still there, but it seems like a little bit lower in the mix, so it's not quite so prevalent. But no, it was a lovely tune. I liked it.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I think the tracks that you procured from the Devil's Bris are from the remastered Devil's Bris from like 2022 or whatever. That's, just the thing, because as you're talking about it and I'm listening to it, I'm thinking the same thing too. Like, there are certain elements that I haven't never noticed before. Again, Devil's Bris stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, was that, that vocal track always there? I always felt it was a little, quote unquote, buried in the mix or whatever. So maybe that's why, because I feel like the original recording from '98, which, by the way, was on DAT tapes, for any audiophile out there, any engineers who actually listen to us. So there's a really, really good chance that what we listened to for the Devil's Bris stuff was the remastered 2022 versions. That's, just a thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. So that being said, I totally get what you're saying about violin for that stuff being very upfront. I mean, it's almost treated like the lead instrument, as it were. It has a timbre that sits in a range that's not being covered by other instruments. Like, even though the guitar can get up there, it's still not the same characteristics. They're not going to mask one another, and everything else is all low end. So I guess by default it sits out front. But yeah, I just love his voice on this song. I love the lyrical melodies. I love the lyrics. I love the melodies that he's created to sing this song. It's just, it's like butter. The guy's like butter as far as I'm concerned. So that being said, we're going to move on to the next track from this record. Actually, it's the fourth track on the record. It's called Almost Human, which is ironic because the album's called Almost Human. The non-ironic part is it's by Voltaire. Enjoy.
What did I ever do to you that you should treat me this way? Is it really such a crime for an angel to speak his mind? In time I'll try to shed some light. If I were a big boy, I wouldn't cry. But since I I'm not a big boy, I have to cry. What did I ever do so wrong that you should cast me from grace? Though I love to rule in hell here, how I miss the taste of heaven, its soft and cool embrace. If I were a big boy, I wouldn't cry. But since I'm not a big boy, I'll have to close my eyes and picture what it's like. I'm just like you, I'm made by he, despised by they. I'm almost me, I'm nearly human. Look at me, I'm almost a human being. I'm just like you, I'm made by he, despised by they. I'm almost me, I'm nearly human. Pity me, I'm almost a human being. I still remember your light, and it was streaming down and burning out my eyes. If I were a big boy, I wouldn't cry. But since I'm not a big boy, I'll have to close my eyes and picture what it's like. I'm just like you, made by him, despised by they. I'm almost me, I'm nearly human. Look at me, I'm almost a human being. These tears are real, I'm jealousy, I'm spite and hate. To the core I mean, I'm nearly human. Look at me, I'm almost a human being. I'm just like you, better than he, to hell with they. I'm almost me, I'm nearly human. Pity me, I'm almost a human being. Don't touch me, oh, I couldn't bear the thought of it. Now, don't touch me, oh, I couldn't bear the strain. Don't touch me, oh, I couldn't bear the thought of it. Now, touch me, touch me, touch me. Don't touch me, touch me, touch me.
That was Almost Human off the album by the same title by Voltaire, out of the new millennium, 2000. I stand corrected, by the way. The opening track off this record, which I already forgot the name, Out of Reach, is not the song that's told from Lucifer's perspective. But if you were paying attention, it was this song. It makes way more sense that it's told from Lucifer's perspective.
Interesting. I really liked this one a lot. I kind of got lost in the lyrics a little bit, but just I really liked them. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It was kind of like the way I don't know if it was the chorus or whatever, but it just kept like cascading on itself. Like you would think it was going to resolve and then move on to something else, and it would just keep going over and over on itself. And I thought it's the song's structure was really cool. I thought I very much enjoyed that.
Yes, this is one of those songs that it's going to sound funny when I use the word juggernaut because I would probably reserve that for like the Walls of Noise from bands like Meshuggah and Static X and Lamb of God and stuff. But this song's a juggernaut in the respect that it just chugs forward and it just has this perpetual motion. and it just keeps going and going and going and going. And I think that may or may not be intentional, because to give a bit of personification to this idea that Lucifer was cast out of heaven because he loved God too much and he asked too many questions, right? It would make sense that in this song, Lucifer is just continuously going on, this and 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 this. It makes, in my mind, it makes sense. I might be connecting dots that aren't actually there. I might be delving deep into this guy's psyche for all I know, and really just striking that nail on the head. But that's my takeaway from this. All right. In keeping in theme with religious mythos, the next track we're going to listen to comes right after Almost Human, and it's entitled God Thinks. God Thinks comes off of the 2000 release Almost Human by Voltaire. Enjoy.
Farm equipment, God thinks. The Jews killed the son and must be punished, God thinks. The white man is Satan, God, they know what God thinks. God thinks we should all convert to Judaism, God thinks we must all be Christians, and God thinks we should all embrace Islam. God thinks the only true religion is Hinduism. And I know what God thinks. God thinks you're a waste of flesh. Oh, God prefers an atheist. Oh, God thinks all people like to rape. God thinks all people like you are an embarrassment to creation. Self-righteous, judgmental, first to throw a stone, and you're using his name for your own protection. God thinks the sun revolves around the earth. God thinks there was something very wrong with Copernicus. God thinks abortion is murder, and God thinks everything that science gave us is wrong. God thinks women deserve it. God thinks AIDS is a form of punishment. I hate people who blame the devil for their own shortcomings, and I hate people who thank God when things go right. And I know what God thinks. God thinks you're an idiot. Oh, God prefers a heretic. Oh, God thinks all people like you are hateful. God thinks all people like you are an embarrassment to creation. Self-righteous, judgmental, first to throw the stone, and you're using his name for your own agenda. Just a man who puts his words in the mouth of God and says it's absolute truth, it's lies, and it smells like death. It's all in a day's work, taking money from the poor. Why do you think that God would need your dirty money if you want to start a holy war? Self-righteous, judgmental, first to throw a stone, using his name for your own protection. God thinks puppies need to die, and God thinks babies need to drown, 'cause God is neither good nor bad. God is you and me. God is everything.
That was God Thinks off of Almost Human by Aurelio Voltaire. And I'm very, very curious if you caught any of that.
Well, there was certainly, I was trying to kind of piece together the perspective, I guess, because it was saying all kinds of wacky shit about what God thinks about, abortion is murder and the only true religion is Islam, or whichever one. It was a wacky song, but it was a very pretty song, which is a really fun dichotomy I keep running into with this. Like, the lyrics are saying one thing and the music is saying, like, just rest your head on the desk and take a little nap. It's
Is that what you're doing?
I am very, very tired.
It's okay. I get it.
My poor little buddy. He's got me up all night.
Yeah.
But no, I really rather enjoyed this one. I was hearing all the lyrics, but I wasn't entirely sure what the message he was going for was. Like, is this some sort of satire, or is this just like, fuck it, I'm just about nonsense? Like, I don't know.
Again, I've been listening to this for damn near 25 years. My takeaway really is kind of that it's the perspective of anyone who has ever said or used God as a kind of moral compass to further whatever bullshit agenda they have, right? Because all
Gotcha.
the lyrics, like you noticed, are very all over the place, right? God thinks we should all be convert to Judaism. God thinks we should all be Christians. We should embrace Islam. The only true religion is Hinduism. God thinks puppies need to die. God thinks that, 25 years, by the way. I've been listening to this track for 25 years, and the opening lyrics never struck me the way they did today, because I guess I just never really noticed it. But the opening lyrics are, God thinks all blacks are obsolete farm equipment. Like, you're coming out swinging when you say something like that.
Yep.
And then the whole, God prefers an atheist. God prefers a heretic. Like, to me, it just further pushes that idea that any lyric in this song is someone who is using God to push some kind of weird agenda. And to see it kind of, boil down to its nuts and its bolts, you sit there and go, this is absurd. Like, this whole song's absurd. Well, what's in it is absurd, right?
Yeah.
All right. Enough of me being preachy, I promise. And the next track we're going to listen to is the 10th track off of Almost Human. It is called The Headless Waltz. And I am a very big fan of the ending of this song. So, without further ado, here is The Headless Waltz.
As above, so below, place your bets, which way the head will roll. Made in your image, we are at least as twisted and mean as thee. For your eyes, what a curious sight. Your children have turned on you, and you say you don't sleep well at night. Well, we'll take care of that for you. Marie Antoinette loved the pearls. They'll make a great tourniquet. Never did as you should, and you claimed it was off for our very own good. 'Twas a lie, a magnificent lie. And now your subjects have turned on you, and you claim you had lots on your mind. Well, we'll take care of that for you. Get that damn thing off her neck. I'm the head of the board, now I'm bored of her head. Sharpen up the blade. Sharpen up the blade, boys. Bells are now tolling, soon heads will be rolling. Please, sir, for me, sir, won't you see me, see, sir? Dear, I dread, I seem to have lost my head. I think I left it about, it fell to the ground and I kicked it around. Has anyone seen? No need to be mean, my bloody fat ugly head. Please, miss, for me, sis, won't you see me, see, sis? It's got black hair and it's kicking about in the square. I'm really not totally sure, but I think that it might have rolled into the store. Has anyone seen? No need to be mean, my bloody fat ugly head.
That was The Headless Waltz off of 2000's Almost Human by Aurelio Voltaire. And I love a good waltz.
You know, you said you really liked the ending of the song, and I was keeping my ears peeled for it, and it did not disappoint. That was great. The whole bits about kicking around the head, but really just the general. I mean, this is another one about mental illness, right? Like losing your head and being, just singing. Oh God, I wish I could remember some of those lyrics. He said something rhymed with brain, and I thought that was a really. I'm too tired to remember things, but I remember enjoying the lyrics to this one and thinking this was a very interesting and kind of fun song.
All my troubles, all my pain stems from this thing that you call a brain.
Yep. Yeah.
I've never thought of it from that angle. Again, 25 years of listening to it, and it's always struck me as very simply off with their heads. Effectively just public executions via guillotine.
Mm.
But when you put it that way, totally plausible, quite frankly.
Or maybe a little bit of both, like, a little bit of one thing, but also like kind of wrapped up in the presentation of this goofy, my head's rolling around. Let's play soccer with it, or whatever hell is happening at the end of the song. Like,
right. Well, I mean, there is the part, La Marie Antoinette loved the pearls. They'd make a great tourniquet, and you claim you have lots on your mind. Well, we'll take care of that for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It's a mishmash of things. There's a lot going on there. But very wunderbar. Before we go on any further, I did say I was going to dig in a little bit to some of the other stuff that Voltaire has done. He's got quite the extensive album collection. One of the things that he's actually probably most known for is a track of his was featured in a cartoon, and now, of course, I can't find it. There it is. The track was for The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and the song was called Brains. Actually,
that lines up.
Yeah, he did two songs. It was Brains and Land of the Dead. So, if you're of that age, you probably will recognize those. You and I were much older, weren't, checking that stuff out, but
I remember that show. I didn't watch it regularly, but I certainly remember that show.
Yeah, and he's, like I said, he's run the gamut of material, and he's let his nerd flag fly in all kinds of weird spaces. So the next track we're going to talk about, and this is our second to last track. This song is called I've always loved the name of the song. It's The Sexy Data Tango. Now, this song originally comes off of an EP he made that was called Band on Vulcan. Wow. Sorry, I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. It eventually shows up again on 2012's Bitrecual, but I've never heard that version, and when I listen to it, I don't like it. I like the original version. The original version is him and the acoustic guitar, and it is, I don't know, it's freaking hysterical if you ask me. If you're a Trekkie, you should really enjoy it. If you're a nerd, I think you're going to have fun. And if you have a pulse, I think you'll laugh at least once. So, that being said, here is The Sexy Data Tango off of Band in Vulcan. I believe it's 2001. Enjoy.
If while you're out at space, love, you're horny as a targ. Take a tip from a security chief, love. That fat slut Tasha Yar. She discovered the pleasures of data. He became her sexual pet, 'cause he's fully functional and anatomically correct. He's fully functional and anatomically correct. His defiant with its thrusters will explode in your wormhole, and will rub his trusty spangler wrench on your warp core manifold. His multi-phasic torpedo will penetrate your rift and cause a quantum singularity in your transwarp conduit. So if you're a filthy hoarder, Data's your bestest bet, 'cause he's fully functional and anatomically correct. He's fully functional and anatomically correct. He gently massages your gel packs while he replicates some lube. Then he shoves his throbbing razor beast into your Jeffries tube. So lower your shield, spread your nacelles to make room for his craft, as he thrusts his Delta Flyer into your big fat juicy aft. So if you're a filthy hoarder, Data's your bestest bet, 'cause he's fully functional and anatomically correct. He's fully functional and anatomically correct. His pelvis a tireless engine. He shakes it when he struts. He's full of dilithium crystals in his bolts and in his nuts. He too likes to be pleasured. He will put you on your knees, and if you're into disgrace, he will cover your face with his android antifreeze. So if you're a filthy hoarder, Data's your bestest bet, 'cause he's fully functional and anatomically correct. He's fully functional and anatomically correct. He's fully functional and anatomically correct.
That was the Sexy Data Tango off of Band on Vulcan by Aurelio Voltaire. I heard you laughing, so.
Oh yeah. I'm well versed in Star Trek. That was fantastic.
That may have been probably the first time I've ever heard someone satirize, an IP like that, and then with such a, heavy sexual leaning, like to have the euphemisms that way. The really funny part is you and I did an ill-fated episode of this show where we were covering the band I was in, and because of technical issues, we had to scrap it. We will eventually get back to it, I promise you guys. And that band had a song that was sci-fi themed, but sexual in nature as well. And even when we had written, we wrote, but we didn't. My lead singer came to the band with that song. Even when we performed that song, I never once thought of the Sexy Data Tango. And it was only in picking the tracks for this episode that I listened to that again for the first time in probably however long it's been. And I thought, holy shit. I had nothing to do with writing, the song we were doing, but my God, are the themes so parallel. All right, well, that brings us to our final song of the evening. Well, at least the final song for me and Chris. Of course, you lovely listeners, you get that bonus of the outro track. This final song is a bit out of order, but I lied. It's not. This final song comes off the 2002 release Boo Hoo. I want to say another anecdote. I want to drop another anecdote here. When I was friendly with Voltaire, he was married to a very lovely woman, and they had a son together who they named Mars. The woman's name was Boo, Boo. This record, if you go look up the cover, is him at a microphone, and he's got like a black eye. When this record was made, they had just gotten divorced. And the record is called Boo Hoo, Boohoo. So, again, a gentleman who wears his heart on his sleeve, never to turn any element of his life, any tragedy in his life, to turn around into something positive, I suppose. But at any rate, that record gave us this wonderful track called The Vampire Club. And I will talk about it afterwards because everything in it is real. Well, it's about a real place. Anyway, this is The Vampire Club off of 2002's Boo-Hoo. Enjoy.
Full and the color of blood. The night the pirates came to the vampire club. The leader was tall and snide and slim. He looked like a gay Captain Morgan. Well, he recognized the vampire from his school. He did something that was most uncool. He said, "Hey, everybody, see the fool in the cape? His name is Bernie Weinstein, and he's in the 8th grade." Fangs were flying, capes were torn. Hell hath no fury like a vampire scorn. Number one rule in this game: never call one by his real name. Wigs were pulled, top hats were crushed by pointy boots in a rush. And Boris at the bar orders a bud and says it's just another night at the vampire club. Missy lost a fang in the ladies' room. We all laughed, they called us Snaggletooth. D was mad cause he broke his cane, and he flushed his contacts down the drain. There was so much angst after the fight. Vlad and Akasha broke up that night, while some rivet heads danced in a puddle of goo. That used to be Father You-Know-Who. Fangs were flying, capes were torn. Hell hath no fury like a vampire scorn. Number one rule in this game: never call him by his real name. Wigs were pulled, top hats were crushed by pointy boots in a rush. And Boris at the bar orders a bud and says it's just another night at the vampire club. But we're still around. When we hang out, it's always upside down. Dressed in black from toe to head, singing Bela Lugosi, still undead. A gaggle of goths is a peaceful sight. We'd do anything to avoid a fight. But if you really want to see some gore and blood, wait till the ravers come to the vampire club. Fangs were flying, capes were torn. Hell hath no fury like a vampire scorn. Number one rule in this game: never call him by his real name. Wigs were pulled, top hats were crushed by pointed boots in a rush. And Boris at the bar orders a bud and says it's just another night at the vampire club.
That was The Vampire Club off of 2002's Boo-Hoo by Voltaire. So, as I mentioned on the onset, his rise in popularity was parallel to the goth scene. And, it becomes a community and you get to knowing people and things like that. And you build friendships and bonds and et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of what's in that song is, a satire of going out to the goth nights. There certainly were vampire clans in New York City. And there's a lyric that always cracks me up because it says, While some rivet heads danced in a puddle of goo that used to be Father You Know Who. Back then, there was a vampire family that was headed by a Father Sebastian. No one liked Father Sebastian. He was like some weird dude that came up from Florida, but he worked out of Halloween Adventure and he made acrylic fangs, and that's what started this kind of subculture of vampires in New York. But it's funny because obviously Voltaire had issues with Father Sebastian, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just, it cracks me up to this day, 25 years later, that, you know, to see this beef. There's one other song that's complementary to this. It's called Alchemy, or Monday Night Alchemy. And that was an actual night at a club, Alchemy Mondays at, I was doing a little research. It said CBGB's, but I don't really remember that. And that has more, you know, nods to his friends and things like that. But I love this song because it's just a good song, on top of the fact that it reminds me of, you know, being like a 17 and an 18 and a 19 and a 20-year-old, you know, just going out to the goth clubs and, you know, pretending to be a vampire or having fake fangs or whatever. But it was just about like that time in your life where you're like, I'm an adult now, I can go do these things. But I was broke as hell, so I couldn't really do too many things. Yeah, I have some really great times, you know, seeing this guy perform and just kind of having his music around and stuff. And, you know, I did mention kind of a dark spot on the whole thing, but quite frankly, it's totally outshined by, again, his immense talent, his gross use of a talent, and guy's fucking charismatic. Okay, like you can't fight that. I was you know, like looking through his website and stuff, and part of me was like, you know, if he comes around, I'll go see him. I haven't seen it, you know, the show in 20 something years. I'd love to go see him. You know, and if you dig this stuff, I urge you to do the same. Maybe we can high five the show or something. But you know, lastly, Chris, what'd you think of that track?
It was very, you know, you should have saved that one for the Halloween special.
No, trust me, I've got plenty for the Halloween special. Trust me.
It was very evocative of like Monster Mash era stuff. It was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and
a lot of fun. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it was a very fun song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's our episode. You know, overall, I think you had a positive experience. Yes,
I did. This was really quite nice. Then not quite what I expected. I expected it to be a little bit more
gothy, dark.
Yeah, gothy, dark, almost like The Cure, to an extent, you know. But
well, if I may, all things being equal, you know, we only listened to about 3 or 4 releases of his. He's got something like 12 or 14 releases. And I think on the release that comes after Boo Hoo, he actually does cover The Cure's Love Song. He covers Caught a Light Sneeze by Tori Amos. You know, I listened to a bunch of the stuff today. Actually, I shouldn't say today, like the last couple days, and that I haven't listened to, like all the newer stuff I've never listened to. And every record kind of has a different influence to it. So there's certainly an album that is a darker approach. There's an album that is more ethereal. There's even an album that is, someone said it's like a companion piece to the score of The Labyrinth. And it's also like his homage to David Bowie. So, I mean, it's really like his musical birth is really covering quite a stretch. You know, it's really taking all his influences and one by one, you know, giving them their flowers, so to speak. So, I mean, if this is something that grabs you, you know, I would suggest listening to the other stuff. You might, in fact, find that there. But, you know, these were the tracks that I grew up with. These are the songs that really stuck with me. And this, to me, encapsulates that artist, Voltaire. So, you know. Anyway, we here at Turning Tracks are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you whenever we can. And we have a couple ways that we can do that. There's the Geek Aid Discord channel, in which we have a Turning Tracks chat where we hope to discuss all manner of stuff relating to music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. And of course, you can always send us mail at geekade.com. That's mail at geekade.com. And while you're at it, check out all our other social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. I say it every episode. If you haven't done it by now, what are we really doing? Turning Tracks and other Geek Aid podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geek Aid Patreon page there. Patrons can get access to monthly podcast topics, recording schedules, and get early access to most of Geek Aid shows, including this one, and much more. If you've enjoyed our podcast over the years, follow the links in the descriptions, and you should give them all a look. Finally, as always, be sure to check out all our other great content that we have over on our site at geekade.com. One more time, that's geekade.com. This is the part of the show where I ask Chris,
mm-hmm.
who is our next artist going to be?
Well, putting a lot of thought into that.
Sometimes this part is harder than the 10 tracks.
Sometimes it can be. There's a handful of bands I'm kind of in the mood to cover right now. I think the direction that I'd like to go, do I want to go slightly oddball, or do I want to cover this other band? Oh, this is a tough one. Because, we're not going to record it like tomorrow. So whatever I'm picking now is going to be like a month from now.
That's like when you have to pick your entree for a wedding that's 3 months away.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Am I going to be in the mood for chicken or fish?
Right.
Who knows?
I always go with the steak. Can't go wrong with steak.
Yeah, that's what well, you can. No, you can indeed. But
you're not wrong.
You're probably you can probably got a better chance of not going wrong if you get the steak.
Fine.
Where are they keeping my book? All right.
What? An Indiana Jones reference?
Army of Darkness.
Ah, even better.
Anytime somebody says fine, where are they keeping my book? All right, heck with it. I am gonna go with my gut here because my gut is moving me in many different directions, so there's no wrong answer. I'm gonna cover a band that's been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. They just had a new album come out within the last, I want to say, month or two, and I hate it. So I want to cover this band that I adore very much, even though I haven't liked their last 3 albums, and kind of reacquaint myself with why I love them so very much. So we are going to listen to the musical stylings of Guster.
Ah, now that's a reference I get.
Yeah, they're a band. They've had some hits. They've been around many places and such. They're not a deep cut, but they have their most popular music isn't necessarily my favorites of theirs. I really like a lot of their music, and I was just listening to their new album the other day while I was walking the dog, and I was like, man, I don't like this at all.
It happens.
It does. And like I was actually on a similar boat. Counting Crows just released a new album a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, let's do that one because it's like timely. And then I was like, but a month from now it's not going to be timely, so heck with it. I'll hold that one off till another time. So yeah, Guster, that's my pick.
All right, well, there you have it. Guster it is. As always with a Mad episode, I like to kick you off into the night with a dedication. The song I'm going to be leaving you with comes off The Devil's Bris. It is the second to last track. It's called When You're Evil. When you're 18 and you're Matt and you hear this song for the first time, you think to yourself, there is no song more perfect in the history of written word, song, and rhythm than this song.
Well,
it encapsulates everything an edgelord wants. An edgelord like me. it really, for years, was the song that I would just hum to myself. It's got amazing, really well written lyrics. There's a lot of interesting emotion to it. So that this dedication doesn't necessarily go out to you guys, but it goes out to 18-year-old me. And it's basically drink it up, Buttercup. With that, you guys all enjoy the rest of whatever's left in your day. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
When the devil is too busy and death's a bit too much, they call on me by name, you see, for my special touch. To the gentlemen, I'm misfortune. To the ladies, I'm surprise. But call me by any name, anyway, it's all the same. I'm the fly in your soup, I'm the pedal in your shoe, I'm the key beneath your bed, I'm the bump on every head, I'm the heel on which you slip, I'm the pin in every head, I'm the thorn in your side, makes you wriggle and ride. And it's so easy when you're evil. This is the life you see, the devil tips his hat to me. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need. While there's children to make sad, while there's candy to be had, while there's pockets left to pick, while there's grannies left to drip down the stairs, I'll be there. I'll be waiting round the corner. I'm glad I'm in it, 'cause there's one phone every minute. And it's so easy when you're evil. This is the life you see, the devil tips his hat to me. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need. I pledge my allegiance to all things dark, and I promise on my damned soul to do as I am told. Lord Beelzebub has never seen a soldier quite like me. Not only does his job, but does it happily. I'm the fear that keeps you awake, I'm the shadows on the wall, I'm the monsters they become, I'm the nightmare in your skull, I'm a dagger in your back, an extra turn upon the rack, I'm the quivering of your heart, a stabbing pain, a sudden start. And it's so easy when you're evil. This is the life you see, the devil tips his hat to me. I do it all because I'm evil, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need, and I do it all for free. Your tears are all the pay I'll ever need. It gets so lonely being evil. What I'd do to see a smile, even for a little while. And no one loves you when you're evil. I'm lying through my teeth. Your tears are all the company I need.
our next track is going to be the 10th track off of. Yep.
How do you spell that one?
There's a couple of R's. You can put them wherever you want.